Hi friends, today we're making one of my all-time favorite cakes, Cinnamon Bundt Cake. You can get the full recipe in the link in the description. Let's go. We're making cake. Hey friends, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Carrie with eatingonadime.com and also dessertsonadime.com because today we're making a dessert. In fact, we're making my favorite cake dessert. I hate to say my favorite dessert cake because I love so many cakes, but this is one of my all-time favorite cakes. It's Cinnamon Bundt Cake. We've been making this for years here in my house. Every single kid loves it. Nobody complains about it. It's basically like a coffee cake, but in a bundt cake form. It's super delicious and it's perfect for any holidays. Today is actually my father's birthday, and so we're going to make it for him. I make it on almost everybody's birthday or every Thanksgiving and every Christmas. So this is one recipe you're going to want to have in your back pocket. Now you can get the full recipe at eatingonadime.com or just say recipe below and I'll send it to you. Okay. The fun thing about this cake is we're cheating a little bit. We're jazzing up a cake mix. So you're going to be amazed at how delicious it is, but you're also going to be shocked at how simple it is. So let's get cooking. Okay, so the first thing I did is I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. Now we're going to assemble the cake. So gotta get my mixing bowl out. Then we need one package of yellow cake mix. I'm just using a cheap off-brand. Any kind will work. That's gonna be kind of our base. Hey you, yeah, that one right there. Thanks. Okay. So just one cheap yellow cake mix. You honestly could do the same thing with white. Cake mix would work as well. I've done both if I didn't have a yellow cake mix in hand. Okay, if you're just hopping on here, guys, we're making Cinnamon Bundt Cake. It's an all-time favorite and it's super simple. You're going to look fancy, but it's so simple. We've got a regular package of vanilla pudding. Remember, drop the word recipe below and we'll send you the full recipe for what I'm making today. Okay. Put that in. Okay. Then we're going to throw some vegetable oil or olive oil in here. And then that's 3/4 of a cup. Then we're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of water. Some eggs. Oh, I forgot all my measuring spoons, guys. Okay. Now, if you're cooking with kids, I highly recommend that you put your eggs in first because then it makes it easier for shells. But since I'm an experienced egg cracker, I was fine with doing it last. But if you're working with an inexperienced one, I always crack the eggs first and put them in here. Then, hold on, grab some measuring spoons. We need some vanilla extract. Okay. Now all we have to do is whisk this together or mix this together. I'm going to use a hand mixer. A stand mixer will work, or honestly, you can even mix it by hand. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm calling this a cinnamon bundt cake, and you're probably like, where's the cinnamon? Well, that's because it's actually a cinnamon swirl bundt cake. If you go to the recipe, you'll see the beautiful pictures. It's basically a cinnamon swirl bundt cake that then we're going to top with a powdered sugar glaze. Stay tuned to the end of the video because we're going to talk about other things that you can top on your cake to make it completely different. Okay. Honestly, that's pretty good. This thrown to the side. Now we're going to make our filling. That's that cinnamon and brown sugar filling we're talking about. We're going to start off with some cinnamon, not to be confused with cumin. I've done that before. Just did it recently. It was definitely a sad day. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 cinnamons, or 2 teaspoons, sorry. These are halves, so. Okay, then we need some brown sugar. Oh, right now in front of my face. We need 1/3 of a cup. Let me get some. So you want it to be packed brown sugar. So what I suggest is you want to push it to the side and pack it in. You could also use a spoon to pack it in, but you want it firmly packed in for proper measuring of brown sugar. If you don't have brown sugar, guys, I actually have a homemade brown sugar recipe that you can just go to the search on our site, and it shows you how to make granulated sugar into brown sugar. Really easy to do. Now this is the time if you want nuts, you could do chopped pecans or walnuts, but some of my kids don't like nuts in their dessert, so I'm not adding them. But I'm not gonna lie, I've been known to make 2 of these, one with nuts and one without, because I prefer it with nuts. Okay, so you're just gonna mix that up, super easy, right? Hold on, let's take a break. I wanna say hi. Okay, so now we're going to assemble this. We need a 12-cup bundt pan. I've learned the hard way that there are 2 different kinds of bundt pans. So if you go and buy one, it will specifically say 12 cups on it, meaning it'll hold 12 cups of batter. There are smaller bundt pans and things like that. So we're going to spray this with nonstick spray. I like to dust it with a little bit of flour. I have not dusted it in the past, but I feel like the cake comes out a lot better if you dust it with some flour. So I sprayed the whole thing. Make sure you get that center ledge or the center insert that you sprayed it with. Oh, that's powdered sugar. About to be a mistake number 45 today. We're gonna do a little bit of flour. This used to be my favorite thing to do when I was a little girl. Is that not funny? I needed more toys maybe. You probably didn't need that much on there. So you sprinkle it in there, and then you're just going to tap it and move it around. Just going to show you for people who've never done this before. Sometimes I feel like when we do our cooking shows, we sometimes just miss the basics, and I want to make sure you got them all. So now that I did all the sides, I'm going to do the inside as well. Same thing. Tap it up. Kind of shake it all around to get it all covered really good. Hold on, gotta get that center one right there. Here we go. Okay, then I just shake out the excess in my sink, ready to go. Okay, so now we're going to layer it. If you're wanting nuts, or if you don't want nuts in the cake, but just on top, it's really pretty to sprinkle your pecans or your walnuts and sprinkle chopped ones right on top before you layer the cake, because then your cake has this beautiful, like, bumpy, melted into the cake, and it looks really pretty, okay? So I'm going to do a little bit of the brown sugar in the bottom, not a lot, but just so I can have some of that pretty edges. Then we're going to take some of the batter. Let me see how many times we do this. 1/3, okay. So we want about 1/3 of this batter in the pan. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now the reason we're doing this is because we want that nice, that cinnamon glaze. So see what I did? I gave it a tap down. Then I'm going to put half of the brown sugar in here. The brown sugar cinnamon mixture. And I'm just doing a nice coating on top. Okay, like so. Hey. Now we're going to do another 1/3. Now sometimes it can get tricky when you're layering it. Sometimes it doesn't want to completely cover up that cinnamon, but again, it's okay. Don't freak out, don't cry, don't panic. This is a no fuss dessert. So simple. That's probably good enough. So see how it didn't completely cover it? That's okay. We're just tapping, some moving. It's okay. It doesn't have to completely cover it. Throw in some more cinnamon. The rest of it, actually. Ooh. It already smells so good, but you can't go wrong with cinnamon and brown sugar. Okay. Now I'm just going to add the final of the batter. So see how easy this is? It's going to look super fancy. It's going to taste super complicated, but it's actually super easy. Normally I would recommend a spatula here, but I can't find a spatula. You know, when you have children, it's kind of like a maze of, not a maze, it's a game of where are my utensils today? Because it wasn't in the drawer. So it's either in the dishwasher, somebody's room, who knows, you know? Okay. And you have the apron so you can wipe your stuff off. Now that that's done, and remember, it's completely okay that it's not completely covered, okay? We're going to take a knife, any kind of knife. You really just need a butter knife, but I don't want to walk all the way over there and get it. So all you're going to do is swirl the knife. Now, you don't just want to swirl like this. You want to swirl almost like you're stabbing it and moving it like this. Now, the reason is because you want that cinnamon to swirl around. If you don't do enough of the swirling, which is why I said it didn't matter. So first, I'm going in circles, but I'm going like this, okay? Like I'm moving up and down as I circle. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to show you what it looks like. But that way, when you take a bite, you don't end up with a cake that has these just perfect cinnamon layers. You know, you don't want, like, here's the cake piece and they have 2 layers. You want it swirled in so you get cinnamon in every bite. Okay? See? Look at it. See how it's all swirled in there? See how easy that is? Okay, off to the oven it goes. Okay, so now that that is baking, I'm going to show you how I'm going to make my powdered sugar glaze for on top. Normally, I would just make this right when it comes out of the oven while it's cooling, but I want to go ahead and show you how to do it, okay? Let me get a different bowl. Okay, so I have a small bowl, and we're going to make a powdered sugar glaze. What that is, it's not quite an icing, so that way you can drizzle it over the pound cake, and then the glaze is going to drizzle down the sides. Okay, so what we're going to need, obviously, is powdered sugar. Let's see, how much powdered sugar? 1 cup powdered sugar. Milk. Magic. And vanilla. Okay, so we're going to do 1 cup powdered sugar. I'm just going to use this one. Now, this is completely different than brown sugar. You don't want to pack it. You're just lightly measuring it. You can sift this if you want to, but I'm not going to, okay? This was a 3rd cup. That's why I'm doing 3. For those of you who are like, crazy lady, what are you doing? I don't want to get this wet yet because I might need to add more powdered sugar if I accidentally over thin it out. Then we're going to want about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm using clear vanilla extract just because then it makes the icing stay white, but regular extract will work just fine, okay? Then we're going to need 2 tablespoons of milk. But what I always tell you, it's easier to add more milk than are enough. So we're going to start with 1 tablespoon of milk, and then we're going to mix it. If your whisk is just a little too big, like mine kind of is a little too big, you can just use like a fork if you want to. That works great too. Okay, so this is not the consistency we want for glaze, right? So we're going to add more milk. I'm going to do 1 more tablespoon, and it should be good, but we're going to talk about it if I over thin it down. I got hair. Sorry, that stuck to my lipstick. Lipstick girl problems. Okay. See how it's getting to a better consistency? This is basically the perfect consistency that I want it for. Just like that, see? Now this will harden a little bit as it sets because since we're cooking that cake for 50 minutes to an hour, this is going to harden, but that's okay. All I gotta do is just gonna harden on top, and all I gotta do is whisk it back up. And if it's a little bit thicker than that, this is great too because your cake is going to be warm when you drizzle this on top. So as it warms the icing, it's going to make it thinner. Boop, boop, done. Look at that. See how easy that was? Even the non-baker like myself can make cinnamon bundt cake. Speaking of non-baking, if you love making delicious treats but don't want to spend a lot of time, or you think desserts can be too complicated, make sure you visit our sister site, dessertsonadime.com. Dessertsonadime.com. It's where we share our delicious but easy desserts on a budget. Okay, how do you save the recipe you send? You can pin it, would be the best way. I'm not sure if I have a saving on the actual website, but that would be my best way to do that. Okay, let's check out any comments. Okay, so if you need today's recipe, just say the word recipe and I will send you the full recipe for our world famous cinnamon cake. Maybe it's not world famous, but it is in this house. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time cooking in my kitchen. Bye, friends. Thanks so much for joining me in my kitchen today. Remember, you can get the link for the full recipe in the link in the description, or you can always go to eatingonadime.com and just search Cinnamon Bundt Cake. Remember, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our easy but delicious recipes. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.